Good morning. It is July 14th, 2026, 7:49 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and this is your pre-market analysis. All right. As usual, we're going to cover NASDAQ, ES, and Bitcoin. Jumping into the NASDAQ chart here. This is the daily chart. I am looking at how we came right back into the EQ area, which I said needed to hold as support. Yesterday's candle was a deep dive right into the EQ and found support in this area. And currently we are trying to move back up. So what we're really going to be watching here is to see if price can get out of the EQ and retest this resistance level and finally break through and flip it as support, or if this is now going to be our new resistance level and price is going to break down. So we do have CPI today at 8:30 a.m. So be aware of that. We're going to get an injection of volatility, and that could push price one way or another. So to say anything right now would be kind of putting the carriage before the horse. So I don't think it's a good idea in this pre-market analysis to come up with any kind of opinions. As we all know, the market usually does the exact opposite of what you actually expect it to do. All I can tell you for sure is that we continue to have this as resistance. So we need to watch this to be flipped as support. If we do move to the downside, I do have these targets. This area right here is of interest to me. I'm looking at 28,400 area. If we would drop to the downside, that is where I'd be looking for support. If that failed to hold as support, then obviously it's going to flip into resistance. If that happens, this is a key level. You want to pay attention to 28,428. If we break that and retest it and cannot break through here, we are definitely looking for more downside. I would be looking for this area right around here, and this would be about 27,300, and that I already have pins on because there's a very good possibility that could happen. All right, let's jump into ES here quick. So ES is showing that we are using the EQ as resistance. Price continues to knock on the door right here. The EQ is rejecting it. We will see if the CPI pushes us through this to the upside and turns this into support. If it would push through there and turn this into support, I would be looking at this right here, which is basically the prior monthly high, the quarterly high, and the yearly high. So if we get above 76,694 area and we get a close, then we can anticipate more upside. And if we do get more upside momentum, I would be looking at probably this area here for about, that's 7,896 as your first level of resistance. Failure to break to the upside. And moving to the downside, I would be looking for probably this area right in here to act as a level of support, and that is 7,400. Failing to hold this as support would have us moving more to the downside. At that point, I would be looking at the prior monthly low right here, which is $7,284 as our next level of support. All right, let's jump into Bitcoin quick. Bitcoin continues to range. I know it felt like yesterday we had a deep dive, but when you look at this on the daily, you can see we're just ranging in this area. That's all this is. It's just a lot of up and down ranging. So really the key areas to pay attention to here is this. I would pay attention to that right there. Right in this area here, you're going to see that we have the prior month low, the quarterly low, yearly low, and this would be the area that you would expect some sort of support. So if we were to come down here and do not use this as support, this will certainly flip it into resistance and downward targets. As I always mention, I have about $51,000 is a possible downward target. If we only went about, I would say 50% of this range right here that we have, I would say somewhere in the neighborhood of 54,000, 54.6 would be an area to look for some type of support. But as of now, we have not done that. So what are we looking for? Well, to break out of this range. So we want to focus on, can we break out of this range? If we do break out of the range, what target would I have? And that would be right here. So this is actually the key area. This 66,000, if we can break through this, then I would certainly think that we're going to continue to the upside. And that would look something like we've already come down and retested in here, right? So maybe we get the CPI report and we shoot up into this area. Maybe come back, retest in here, and then break through. If we break through, what kind of levels am I looking at? Well, the prior month high, prior year low, these are definitely targets that I want to pay attention to as being flipped from resistance and into support, because this is where I would expect price to hit as resistance and then pulling back and hopefully breaking through. Okay, that is all I have for you today. If you're trading, good luck. Remember, it's CPI at 830, and I will catch you in the next video.